Good evening. Oh, good evening. I'll start that again, shall I? Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 of.
Hang on a minute. Is
Music
it
Isn't
28?
About Business.
It's 27.
Oh, 27.
For fuck's
Fucking
sake.
hell. I don't know. I can't count. Welcome to episode something of something. And tonight we're discussing something. So. Fucking hell! I'm just getting old and decrepit. I can't remember. I do have real problems with the numbers. Every time we do this, I get the episode wrong. Anyway, but it's 27, and tonight we are doing loads of instrumentals. And just to clarify for Jake, that's a song with no words.
Thanks for that.
Just
I
in
need
case
to reorganise my list. It's funny because I did. At one point, I very much favoured a song that had samples of voices in it. I didn't put it in the end because there were so many instrumentals. I knew I had quite a lot of instrumental records because classical music, ambient music, there's so many different styles of music. But I didn't realise just how much of my music is instrumental. So when it came to picking something, it was both easy and hard, I suppose. I
totally agree. When I first went, I went, oh, bloody hell. Right, let me see, instrumentals. And I thought, hang on a minute, I've got fucking thousands of instrumentals. Why am I worried about not being able to find any? In fact, I've got a list here of 10 that, and they're the 10 I kind of came off the top of my head. And I thought, well, fuck, I'm not going to go pounding through everything. I've got like 4 definites and one. I may change my mind. I haven't quite made my mind up which one to do fifth. Again. This is getting to be a habit as well.
Yes, it is. Yes. Although we haven't had a crossover for quite a long time.
No,
I suppose there's still a possibility, but unlikely again.
I don't think so. Not in the instrumentals. I don't think so.
No.
Although I have gone highbrow on one. So.
Oh, you've done what?
Yes, I've gone rather highbrow.
Whose intellect did you borrow to do that?
Oh, I just one I found on eBay. It was a Sheen IQ, and I just borrowed that for the day. So
I look forward to that.
Yeah. So, do you want to go first this week? Since it's your turn, and I like doing turns as opposed to having a turn, but. I was thinking the other day, we're both of that age where we don't fall anymore. We have a fall.
We have a fall, yes.
Yeah, we've reached that. We've reached that old age. Have a fall.
Certainly so. Fortunately, I haven't had one for a little while.
No, I think if I did fall, I'd just fucking fall. I wouldn't have a fall. It would just be I fell. I think I'm still supple and limber enough to survive a fall. I don't think my hip's going to snap or anything like that just yet.
Only 60,
I'm a bit worried about my spleen, but other than that, I swear my scales are broken. My scales, according to my scales, I've put on 2 stone now in
over
2
what
months.
Time?
2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I fucking haven't. I'm hardly skinny, but I'm not. I'm not the whale. Or anything.
The Whale.
I'm not Brendan Fraser in The Whale, the film. Oh, you don't watch films, do you?
I don't know it, no. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you can get it recalibrated somewhere. Buy another set of scales. We'll get a second opinion because 2 stones in 2 months is. I mean, it has been Christmas. Do you go to excess over Christmas?
Oh, when I put on weight, I can tell when I've put on weight because I can see it. And I mean, and I've got a tiny little podge, but I haven't got, muffin tops or, love handles or anything like that. I've just, I don't know what it is.
It does sound like your scales are up the Swanee.
Yeah, perhaps. I think so. Fucking things.
Anyway, who cares?
In the bin with them. In the bin. Anyway, come on, regale us with your first instrumental.
Okay, all right then. Well, in no particular order, because I said there were so many to choose from, and we will definitely have to do instrumentals again because there are so many great instrumentals.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But in no particular order, I just picked 5. And this is straight back to Keith's records, who we haven't necessarily mentioned for a while.
Keith Records, you say?
Keith Records, glug, glug, glug.
I actually
Indeed.
found my Keith Records T-shirt.
You had a Keith Records T-shirt?
Yeah. There was some guys on Facebook who did a history page for March, the town where we come from, and they had an old Keith Records bag and manufactured some Keith Records T-shirts I think with Keith's permission.
Yeah.
And I got one.
How about that?
And I found it the other day. I'll have to wear it at some point when I do one of my Instagrams.
Yes.
When I do one of my Instagrams.
Indeed. Yes. Well, this record I bought in Keith's, and it's a 7-inch, and it's a punk record, and punk music isn't very well known for instrumental tracks.
No.
It's almost an offence not to have some vitriolic polemic being screamed into your head. That was the whole purpose of punk in many respects.
I'm just trying to think of any punk instrumentals. I didn't come across any when I was doing this, I must admit.
Well, there are some great ones. Durango 95.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ramones.
Yeah, Ramones. There was a Clash one, wasn't there? Listen,
Oh,
was that was an instrumental, I think.
Don't know about that. There's the intro on side one of From the Cradle to the Grave by Subhumans is an instrumental. Smash It Up Part 1. But there's none of those. There's none of those. This is one of my favourites, and it's the B-side to a single called Suffragette City, and it's called Overdrive by Rose of Victory, which is really weird because you were talking earlier on about Blitz. And Blitz
that's right.
became Rose of Victory.
Yeah.
Well, two of them did. Nidge Miller, the guitarist, and Neil Mackie McLennan on the bassist. When Blitz went through one of their many fall aparts, Nidge and Mackie went and formed Rose of Victory. So
see, this goes back to our conversation ages ago about when you got to a certain point in English punk bands and they all turned into people with one name, and it was usually a shortened version of their Christian name or some ridiculous nickname or some name based on their surname. So Nidge and Mackie, I rest my case. But I digress. Carry on.
I'm not at all sure what case you've just rested, but let it rest. It can. So yeah, Blitz split up, and Mackie and Nidge, formed Rose of Victory, and they only released 2 singles: Suffragette City in 1983, and then Full Circle in 2022. So it's a huge, huge gap. So it's a very, very brief time in the limelight they had. In between, they reformed Blitz, but it was always an unreliable arrangement, and the band never really kind of got together and cohesive long enough to kind of keep going. Their last album was 1990. That was their final studio album on Skunks Records, because their original label, No Future, folded when 1983's Second Empire Justice tanked, because Blitz, as well as Rose of Victory, had a very kind of quite a brief flash in the limelight, if you like. And when
New
Blitz,
Age.
Oh yeah.
That was a big one, wasn't it? I remember seeing that on the Tube.
Yeah.
That is my favourite Blitz single. I think that's an absolute banger.
That's All Out Attack. Their first was the 7-inch EP, All Out Attack, was my favourite. Fucking brilliant. But they all stopped all of that. Miller was killed, actually, and that stopped everything.
Just about to say somebody died, didn't they? Did he die in America or something?
He did, in Texas, after a gig. He got hit by a car. He was only 48. And reports seem to suggest he was staggering around in the road for some reason, but I don't know. But Rose of Victory was this flash of history, tiny output, but Overdrive is just a great little piece of music. I've no idea why it's called Overdrive. Obviously, being an instrumental, there's no clue in the lyrics.
Well, they fans of Bachman Turner?
Yes, because their previous 2 singles were Bachman and Turner.
Wow.
So who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? I imagine they hadn't seen anything yet.
They hadn't seen anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
brilliant,
dear, oh, dear.
Brilliant.
No, and similarly, there's nothing in the music to indicate whether it was to do with overdrive as in high gear on a car or overdrive in high activity. I don't know. But the song, there's not an awful lot to say about it. I've kind of put it on this list because I think everybody should hear it. It's nothing flashy, just a great tune. All on guitars, nothing like the music of Blitz. It's not really very punky by any standard, but it's just a great little tune. It has a kind of feel similar to Smash It Up Part 1 by The Damned. It's restrained, it's melodic, it's instrumental. Peculiarly, it kind of fades out and then it fades back in again, only to return for another work through. But it's just good, honest, tuneful music with a bit of a punk edge. And as I say, because the band didn't last very long, because Blitz didn't really last very long in any real shape or form, and because the music is relatively simple and short, there's not an awful lot to say. But I just think everybody ought to give it a listen because it's a darn good tune.
Yeah, oh, well, I'll definitely have a listen to it. I knew nothing about it, to be honest. I think that's part of the thing with instrumental. I was just thinking while you were saying that, you are at a push to say things. You got no lyrics to talk about.
Indeed.
You
can only guess at the meaning.
Yeah. And then there's a bit that goes, na 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 na, and then this other bit goes, bum, 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 bum. And it's like, oh, yeah, fucking hell, shut up, you twat. So, yeah, it's, could be tricky. Could be tricky.
We'll work our way through it.
How many did you kind of think, oh, that's, and then think, oh, no, there's lyrics in there, and other than one of the samples? Because I'm sure I had a couple, and I was like, oh, yeah, I really like that. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, there were a couple. I was sure there was a fucked up track, which was an instrumental, but there's some vocals coming to that towards the end. There was something else as well that I was going to put on, but that had got vocals in it as well when I listened to it, and I thought, fuck me, I just always thought of that as an instrumental when I knew that they were there.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, I'm worried that some of mine, I know for a fact none of these have got. I did double check everything on here. So yeah.
Like I said, there were lots and lots of tracks which are instrumental, but for sampled voices, which are clearly on the verge of is it an instrumental or not. I would still call that an instrumental. I
suppose so. Yeah. Yeah,
I haven't used any, but there you go.
No. Okay, so my first one is me being all highbrow on that.
Oh, your first one's the highbrow one. Excellent.
It's The Lark Ascending by Ralph Vaughan Williams. Have you got this?
We have mentioned, of God, yes.
Have we? Yeah.
We have mentioned this before.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't really listen to classical music. I know very little about it. I don't really quite know how to appreciate it either because it's just not my cup of tea, really. There's odd bits and bobs I like. I've got there's ones we were talking about, Gorecki. I quite like that. I've got the Colin Stetson version of that. I've probably got a couple of other little things, but The Lark Ascending is such an evocative piece of music, and it's really quite a moving piece of music as well. There's just something so quintessentially English about it, and it makes you feel English just listening to it, but not in that nationalistic kind of, I'm listening to, I better go and bang a fucking flag up on a bloody telegraph pole or something. It makes me kind of think of, it reminds me of the beauty of England, and when you kind of pitch your car up at a spot, go for a walk through a wood, go for a walk through a meadow, walk up a hill, look out over merry old England, and it is, and that is a great place to be sometimes, as long as there's no fucking twats around to annoy me, sticking flags up fucking telegraph poles, but I love nipping up. I love Norfolk. I could walk through any green space in Norfolk, and I could put my headphones in and listen to The Lark Ascending. I'll be happy as a pig in shit, and it accentuates the walk, just listening to that music just seems to make everything seem a tiny bit greener and a tiny bit more beautiful, and it's very easy to kind of go back in time in your head and just imagine where you are 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 80
You
years ago.
can't remember where you were 70
No,
years
but
ago.
well, you can imagine what it would be like. You can picture yourself in, in England pre
Medieval England.
no, I'm thinking more 50s, 40s and 50s, pre skyscrapers and I mean post-war England is my thing. I love reading about post-war England, and because there's a lot in there to be quite proud about, and it bores my piss when politicians try to take advantage of that and try and go, and get that nationalist bollocks going, populist shit, and it fucking gets up my arse. But this is just such a, I mean, and for anyone who doesn't know, Lark Ascending, it's a short single movement work by Ralph Vaughan Williams, the English composer, and was inspired by the 1881 poem of the same name by the English writer George Meredith. Researched today.
You wouldn't know.
Originally for violin and piano, completed in 1914, but not performed until 1920. And it's and it's one of those bits of music where even before I knew it, if you know what I mean. I've heard it, and as soon as I kind of made a conscious effort to listen to The Lark Ascending by Ralph Vaughan Williams, I realised how familiar I already was with it from watching from TV soundtracks. I suppose it's often on them. I've heard it. I don't know which ones, but that's what I associated it with. Or very similar sounding music. I know I used to. I've got a load of old travel films from the 40s, 50s, 60s on DVD. That there was a government department that used to make them. I can't remember what it was now. It was Central Office of something.
Central Office of Information. Possibly,
yeah. And they used to make these travel films, and I love them. This is all part of my love of as I said, post-war Britain, and I used to love watching these films. And there was always music that would sound like, if it wasn't, The Lark Ascending, for added greenery, I suppose. Given they were all in black and white. This is in black and white. Oh, they're playing The Lark Ascending. It all looks green now. Yeah, so yeah, it's fantastic, and it would be interesting to. I mean, I imagine I don't want to treat any of our listeners from abroad as peasants, but it would be interesting to know what they thought about it. Because you couldn't possibly appreciate this. Well, anyone could appreciate it, but I mean, in a different setting. If you're listening to it in a different setting, what would it? What kind of feelings would it evoke for them? But yeah. But yeah, possibly, as I say, the most quintessentially English piece of music ever, other than "Oh, Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter,"
"Land of Hope and Glory."
Yeah, "Land of fucking hell." Yeah, Rule Britannia, hey, fucking hell. Yeah, so yes, so that's my first choice, Ralph Vaughan Williams, The Lark Ascending,
and a very excellent choice.
I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did. It is a fantastic piece of music. I think we mentioned it before because I'd seen it performed live in Norwich Cathedral, which is curious.
Oh, okay.
Since you said Norfolk, you like Norfolk, and that's where I'd seen it performed live. But it is a fabulous piece of music, very, very inspiring indeed.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, my second pick is something slightly different, and it's a track.
Oh, here we go.
It is a track called "Every Day" by an artist, a band called The Field, and this is about the purity, the art of repetitive beats and sounds. It is trance/techno track, and it's all about creating a propulsive, irresistible force, something which makes movement inevitable. It is the hypnotic pulse of machinery. My old pal Nick Palmer used to come up here quite regularly with Al Fisher and sometimes Pinky, Robert White, and would have whole weekend-long sessions in here, part of it making music, part of it taking all sorts of intoxicants, and part of it just listening to stuff. And used to play a lot of techno and stuff because me and Nick both really, really liked it. And we'd put coloured lights on in the small hours, get fucked up and play stuff like Fuck Buttons and Art of Trance and Regis and stuff, and blunder about hopelessly before falling about in unrestrained laughter. And the Field quite often got played because it's just really simple, straightforward machine music. Every Day was a song I particularly remember us going through the whole big fish, little fish stuff, lurching around, laughing and getting leery, which was fun. Me and Nick had been knocking around playing in bands since the early 80s. We played in Surf Dogs, we played in Marching Orders, we played in 2 different incarnations of Initial Prayer, and then he went and died about 11 years ago.
Thoughtless. Absolutely thoughtless.
I do miss him a lot. For most of us, death, we don't really think of it much, and then suddenly it comes out the left field and whacks you on the arse. And it's still, kind of a bit hard. And that I dedicated an album to him in 2015, and dedicated part of a wood down in Cornwall to him as well. But you can't go back.
What was the album you dedicated? Was it Why Did You Die, You Bastard?
No, it could have been. No, it was an album called Edits at Depth, by, I think I recorded it under the Bleeding Peasant Orchestra. Strangely enough, actually, just the thought occurs to me, there's a track on it which is in part recorded at that concert in Norwich Cathedral. And it was before things started, but there was all this reverb going on and all this really beautiful
You bootlegged Ralph Vaughan Williams?
No, I bootlegged the cathedral, just the sound of the cathedral, and then I processed the sound a lot and got some really good noises out of it. But
awesome.
But it was great. It was great. Anyway, The Field is a Swedish producer and DJ who works out of Berlin.
Yeah, now you've brought us all down by talking about death.
Have you ever seen anybody die?
No one I'm prepared to confess to.
I've seen a few people get killed.
Fucking hell.
I know. It's quite strange.
I didn't realise it was such a spectator sport.
not intentionally.
Did you have to book in advance?
No, I've seen a few people killed. One is a guy on a motorcycle, and I've seen a couple of people die on motorcycles, and one of them, he just came along the road and he landed. He came off he got into a speed wobble. When you can't control the handlebars.
Yeah.
And he came off and he flew through the air and hit the ground at some speed. It was quite bad. He landed just a few metres away.
Well, like Isle of Man TT? Or
No, it's a thing called the BMF, British Motorcycle Federation meeting in Peterborough.
Oh, okay.
The worst one I saw, I was on my way to work one day on the A38, and there was a pedestrian crossing. And over the other side of the road, there was a couple of kids and their parent or guardian waiting to cross. And just as I went past on the other side of the road, this little girl who had been standing with her back to the traffic for some unknown reason just span round and stepped right into the lane, as if she'd just been completely oblivious to the fact that the lights hadn't changed. And a car hit her. It must have only been doing about 25, 30 miles an hour. They weren't speeding or anything. But this poor little girl, she spun up over the bonnet and the windscreen and landed on the floor.
Oh, God.
So, I stopped. All the traffic going in both directions stopped because it was really busy. And the ambulance was called, and we kind of left not knowing what had happened. But it transpired from reports in the paper shortly after that this little girl, I think she was 12, I can't remember exactly, she died. And that kind of hits you. It kind of hits you afterwards. Kind of think all of that education, that personality, that history just stopped. Just then. And that guy on the motorbike, he was 45 years old. He'd got a wife and 2 kids, and he'd gone through 45 years of life. And then just in a second, it stopped. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on quickly.
Well, fucking hell. Do I need to tell a joke or something?
You might have to. So The Field, Swedish producer Alex Wilner, and the funny thing
Sorry, I was
is,
just checking my pulse. Make sure I don't fucking die in front of you. You're worse than Terry fucking Jacks. You are. Fucking hell. It's like having the fucking angel of death on my bloody screen.
There's a few others I've seen die. But...
Oh, here comes Jake. Quick, write your will.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes, Wilner. So he was inspired, although he ended up making techno music, he was inspired by the Dead Kennedys and the Misfits, and he'd played in some punk bands himself.
Oh, wow.
He's released half a dozen albums, stack of singles. His last album, I think, was in 2018, and from there, he's been focusing on production and remixing. So he's been doing work with Tom York, Cinematic Orchestra, Harmonia, The Orb, and all kinds of other ones.
Oh, who was he? That's the Field. The Field,
yes.
Did you say? Right. Is that the name he's still using?
I believe so. Although it's probably on this production work, it might be as Alex Wilner rather than The Field. The Field was his kind of electronic techno, electro dance.
His nom de plume.
Indeed, his last thing was with Anna von Hauswolf. Actually, 2024's Kite. He worked on.
Okay.
So the song is great. Awesome. It's from the 2007 debut album, From Here We Go, Sublime. It has no beginning. It just starts. The machines start running, and then it just goes and goes and goes. It does have cycles where this deep bass sound comes in and goes out cyclically. But other than that, it just runs for a couple of minutes, and then it kind of stutters, and then it really opens up with these vocal loops. They're not intelligible words, they're just vocal sounds, and it really does go sublime.
It's a bit like you talking on these podcasts.
That's right. Unintelligible. That's me entirely. You're the cyclic bass noise.
Boom, 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 boom.
So it just runs on and on. It's some analog hi-hats, fabulous percussive synths running in eighths, more dreamy vocal loops swim up to the surface. It's just great. It's just a brilliant piece of music. It just really is irresistible. You can't help moving.
Awesome.
And it's a good band.
Well, I've listened to that. Yeah. Do you think one time, do you think anyone listens to this with their subwoofer on?
I would think it pointless.
But if they did have it on accidentally, we could secretly drop in a brown note somewhere or something. That would be funny. That would kind of make up for you talking about death for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just banging and he's talking about death. I wish he'd shut up. Boom. Oh, fucking hell.
That wasn't really planned, that death bit, but a little bit of
obviously.
A maudlin
I didn't
way
think
to
you'd
start.
had a script. Right, what should I talk about tonight? Let me do what I've been shopping, death, people I've seen dying, yeah. Fucking hell. That should cheer everyone up.
I'm sure there was a German musician who experimented with frequencies that affected human physiology. I know we've talked about the brown note. This guy, he'd found frequencies to make people convulse, make them vomit, make them shit. It might be an apocryphal story that I've just picked up somewhere along the line.
Probably.
But it would have been a messy concert. Probably
it would have been, yeah.
Almost as messy as G.G. Allen.
There was a gig a couple of years ago when Godspeed You Black Emperor played at the Troxy. And I had a ticket for it and I couldn't go. And I had to sell my ticket. And apparently, all these people crowded around the front of the stage, and there was a guy there, standing there, who kept farting, and everyone was going, mate, you got to stop that. And then he shat himself in the Troxy, watching Godspeed You Emperor, and refused to move.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah.
Well, you'll be have a chance to see if he's there again in April, because Godspeed You Black Emperor are playing the Troxy in April.
They are playing the Troxy in April. I can't really afford it, to be honest. I thought about going, but I've already got... I think it might be the same day as I'm going to something else as well. I think... I need to check.
Okay.
Because I'm going to see Landy Hecht in April. And I've also got another kind of couple of weeks before that, I've got My Bloody Valentine at the Royal Albert Hall. Right, so my second one, if I can remember what order I did them in. My second one is by The Glove.
Oh, yes, okay.
And it's called A Blues in Drag.
Yeah.
The Glove being the band that Robert Smith of The Cure and Steve Severin of Susie and the Banshees, or as I like to call them, just to annoy people, Cyoxy and the Banshees. It's just because
You really don't have to try hard to annoy people, Dave, honestly.
I know. Normally I just look at them, but saying Cyoxy and the Banshees just gives it that extra bit of edge, you know. So this song, I can't actually remember the order, but in 1983, Severin and Robert Smith were at a loose end, so they got together at first to record "Lament" for The Cure, which I kind of went was one of my B-sides a few weeks ago, and kind of did a few more things, and then decided they would make a record. So the record was Blue Sunshine. It was an LP, and because of Robert Smith's contractual obligations, he wasn't allowed to sing, or he could sing 2 songs. Fiction boss Chris Parry allowed him to sing 2 songs, and the other songs were all sung by a girl called Jeanette Landry, who was Budgie's girlfriend. Budgie, the drummer from the Banshee, from Cyoxy and the Banshees. It was their drummer. So anyway, in the middle of this LP, there is a absolutely gorgeous little instrumental called "A Blues in Drag," which is basically bass and a heavily echoey piano. And when I say I can't remember what order it came in, around this time, Susie and the Banshees, Channel 4 had just started as a TV station in the UK, and they picked a few select bands, gave them a budget, and asked them to make a short film for Channel 4, and these were called Play at Home. And Cyoxy and the Banshees. I'm going to stop.
Please stop that. Yeah,
it's really annoying here, isn't it? So it was
yeah.
working. So Susie and the Banshees did an Alice in Wonderland inspired surrealistic half hour with other little interludes from different people. So the Play at Home special was kind of an Alice in Wonderland surrealistic thing, and there were various interludes where each member of the Banshees could do their own little musical thing, and slap bang in the middle there was a video of Steve Severin and Robert Smith playing as the Glove, A Blues in Drag, and I can remember sitting at home watching it and thinking, oh my god, what the heck is this? It's brilliant. It's still one of the loveliest pieces of music I've ever heard. I've listened to this thousands of times, which is no mean feat because I originally had the album on a cassette, so I had to keep rewinding and fast forwarding to get to that particular one. I also had the TV show on a VHS cassette, which I'd watch quite regularly. It's actually available on YouTube.
Oh, right.
Now, if you do want to watch it, I don't know whether you ever saw it or whether you remember it at all.
It sounds familiar. I mean, I've got the LP. I used to love listening to it late at night in the wee hours. The whole LP is lovely. I can't remember specifically the track, and I haven't listened to the LP for 30 years or more, but I'm definitely going to pull it out again and have a listen.
It is absolutely gorgeous piece of music. Yeah. It really is absolutely gorgeous. I've got the a few years ago. I've got the LP. I've got the singles. Like an Animal was a single, and Punish Me with Kisses was another single. I've got them knocking around somewhere. But a few years ago, they released a deluxe CD of it,
right.
Along with all the other Cure and Cure related albums, and they all had extra discs with demos. This has got a whole a whole CD of demos of all the songs with Robert Smith singing them,
Oh, right.
rather than Jeanette Landry.
See, I didn't realise that he'd been restrained from singing due to contractual commitments. Never occurred to me that's why he wasn't singing.
Yeah, that's what it was. So all these demos have got him on, and the version of A Blues in Drag on the demos has him singing over the top of it.
That must sound a bit weird.
It is. After you've been listening to that piece of music for so many years, to then hear it with some fucker singing on top of it's like, what? Yeah. Sacrilege, stop it.
And let's face it, he hasn't got the best singing voice, really, Robert Smith.
Robert Smith's got a unique singing voice, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he can hold a tune, but I like Robert Smith's voice. I've
never liked his voice much. I mean, his music is sometimes absolutely fantastic, but I wouldn't say his voice is particularly noteworthy.
The double CD is well worth getting for some other extra tracks. Obviously, like I say, it's got a whole album of demos. It's also got some other instrumentals they've done. And what they did was in between a lot of the songs, there were tiny little instrumental interludes as well.
Okay.
That sound these very frantic, what one sounds almost kind of Mexican. It's I can't think of any other way to describe it. It doesn't sound Mexican, but it's kind of got that. I think I used to associate with Speedy Gonzales for some fucking reason. Yeah. And I don't know why. And that actually fades into A Blues in Drag.
Oh, really?
And there were lots of references to The Man from U.N.C.L.E. as well. In that particular record. If you, it's really interesting because the booklet that comes with the double CD is a really interesting read. In fact, all of the booklets with all of the Curie issues are really interesting and kind of fill in lots and lots of gaps. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll definitely listen to that again. I don't remember the actual track. I remember that it used to be something I played an awful lot.
As soon as you hear it, you'll go, oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Good.
But yes, so that is my number 2.
Excellent.
The Glove, A Blues in Drag.
Super duper. Okay.
Yes, wonderful.
My number 3 then is a piece of music called Music for Gymnastics by Jordan de la Sierra, and it's from the album Gymnosphere Song of the Rose. There's another rose. I hadn't really appreciated. I've got 2 roses.
Oh my God, you're so flawed tonight.
And it's a fabulous piece of music. And
that daffodil clenched between your teeth when you're not speaking as well. That's yeah. Yeah, is that your Welsh heritage? Or?
I turned it to Morrissey.
Oh, fuck off. Don't tell it to Morrissey. I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear.
Not a fan of Morrissey and the Smiths? I
love the Smiths. I don't really like Morrissey very much.
Yeah, I think I'd echo that.
I really did love this. I thought the Smiths were a fantastic band, but I found his solo output just fucking tedious, really. I'd never really, he just went, oh God, you miserable twat, shut up. I mean, I think he lost something when he obviously lost Johnny Marr. But yeah, so I do love the Smiths, but I'm not a particularly big fan of Morrissey. And he's so up his own arse.
I was about to say, I think the other thing was that his ego took over completely.
Yeah. I'm Morrissey, I'm so important. Yeah, fuck off, mate.
Couldn't agree any more than you with that. I couldn't agree more with you on that. Okay, come on. So,
are you happy with that sentence? No. Do you want to read it? I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. Yes.
So, music for gymnastics.
Going to be a lot of fucking editing tonight.
There will be a fucking lot of editing. Yes.
You'll be there. You'll be sitting there tonight thinking, should I take out some of that death chat?
Yeah, I did. In the break, I went and said to Rachel, I said, I kind of got slipping into a very maudlin opening with people I've seen killed in that. I think I may have to take some of that out, if not all of it, because I'm not sure that's what people want to hear. I don't know. We shall see.
So now you've got to take out all this bit when we're talking about you talking about people dying. So if Jake edits out the bits about he was talking about dying, he just got away on a bit of a tangent about people being killed in front of him, not on purpose. So if you wonder what we're talking about, that was it. He'll have edited it out by now.
No, you're making it impossible to edit out. Yeah, I should listen to it in the morning and see how bad it is.
Or when you edit it out, will that make it more amusing? Because all of a sudden, we've got to explain what we edited out. Oh my God, why don't we just fucking get in our DeLorean, do 88 miles an hour down the fucking street, go back in time. I'll say to you, don't talk about fucking death. Then we'll come all the way fucking back to now and we'll start again. All to the soundtrack of Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh dear, feels like I've stepped into an
There you
episode
go.
of the
That should do
Twilight
it. That's
Zone.
sorted that out. So hold on. Note to self, invent time travel. Go back. Tell Jake not to talk about death so much. The miserable twat. Right, okay, we've done that.
Oh dear.
This is going to be a fucking brilliant editing. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is going to be worse than going back in time.
It will be.
This is going to be like, what was the fucking Primer? Have you ever seen Primer, the film?
So.
No, you don't watch films,
so.
you bored
No.
twat. There's a film called Primer, and it's all about time travel. And they go backwards and forwards so much that they're all losing track of what they've done.
Oh God.
It's brilliant. I thoroughly recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I should
really
look
good.
out for it.
Yours.
Music for Gymnastics by Jordan Dalla Sierra from...
If one of us wins the lottery tonight, it's going to be obvious that we've gone back in time then, because we'll have... Oh, no, that'll be going forward in time. And then, we could have won last week's lottery. Oh, God, I hate fucking time travel conversations are the worst, aren't they?
I know if one of us wins the lottery tonight, it will be you, because I don't do the lottery. So
there
it
you
will
go.
definitely be you.
Cool.
So,
Yes.
Jordan de la Sierra, born Jordan Stenberg in California in 1947 to parents of Slovakian and Spanish heritage. Classically trained musician, both vocally and piano, and also an accomplished saxophonist. And he wrote this album, Gymnosphere, Song of the Rose, and it is absolutely fantastic. The whole album is a double album, and it is glorious and beautiful. It was originally released in 1977. The copy I have is a deluxe reissue from 2014. They've reproduced the booklet that came with the original, which is lots of Indian drawings and mystical texts and all kinds of stuff. But what this is it's contemporary classical music / ambient music, and it's simply a piano swathed in really rich shimmering reverb. There are 4 tracks on the album, the shortest of which is 24 minutes.
Oh, of course it fucking is. There's always one in there.
But it's absolutely superb. They recorded this, he recorded it in a studio in Berkeley, California, and it's largely improvised based on a 7-note scale. But when they did it, they transformed into kind of like a temple space. And there were silks hung up and gardenia flowers and oils and gemstones and precious metals. And a single candle lit the space. And listening to the music, it's easy to imagine how that environment and this music came together. So they recorded it over 5.5 hours. But despite the fact that it got a 9-foot Steinway piano and they'd got a huge sustain on it, they still felt it lacked reverb. So they got some engineers and took the tapes to Grace Cathedral, played the tapes back in that cathedral, and then the engineers recorded just the reverb of the cathedral back to the studio and added the new cathedral reverb onto the original recordings. And it is so rich and beautiful. It's otherworldly. Time kind of slows down listening to this. The notes hang in the air because the suspension of the notes in the reverb just carries and carries and carries. It's a bit like, listening to anything in the cathedral. Mentioned, saw a classical performance in Norwich Cathedral, and any cathedral is fucking lovely because the sound is gorgeous. So you can go into these huge spaces and they're beautiful anyway. And even when there's no sound, there's this kind of anticipation of sound, this vast space. I remember I walked into Trondheim Cathedral in Norway a few years ago, and the music playing was the Norwegian women's choir, Schola Sanctae Sunnivae, and they were playing in Festo Susceptionis Sanguinis Domini, which is on the feast of the reception of the blood of the Lord. And it's a
Oh, yeah, of course I knew that.
and it's a simply choral piece. It sounded so fantastic, and the volume of the original source of the music doesn't have to be loud at all, because the development of the sound in these huge cathedral spaces are just everything. The way the sound moves in the space, and the way the space moves the sound, it's absolutely cosmic. And this whole album is like that. It's just so cosmic, really, that the time stands still while you listen to it. So okay, the briefest piece of music on the album is 24 minutes, but rest assured it won't feel like that. Won't feel like that at all. When talking about time slowing down, do you know in 1990 in Austria, an organisation was formed called the Society for the Deceleration of Time, and they were all about trying to slow the frantic pace of society down. And amongst other things, what they did, they put speed traps on pavements, and if they thought pedestrians were moving too quickly, they would issue a penalty which included the requirement that the offender walked for 50 yards very, very slowly, holding a plastic tortoise. Which I think is a great idea. I don't know how many times they got punched or told to fuck off, but it's a great idea.
One or two, I should imagine.
I remember a Lexi Sales sketch back from the 80s, and he was talking about how he hates tailgaters on the road, and I hate tailgaters.
Yeah, me too.
And he was saying, you don't get out of your car and do that when you're a pedestrian, do you? And he was simulating kind of getting right up behind a little old lady who was walking slowly and going, come on, love, get out the way, step out the way.
So when you get a tailgate, do you tap your brakes?
The temptation used to be. I used to suffer from road rage quite a lot, but after lots of medication and therapy, I don't so much. So now I'm more inclined to just pull across and say, off you fucking go then, you twat. Because... doing anything else is a bit futile, really. You can't change every bad driver on the road, and so many bad drivers on the road. Whether you fucking swear at them or get into a fight with them or whatever, it doesn't change anything. You just feel like a twat afterwards, really. So
yeah, fair play.
No.
Yeah, I better stop that then. I tap my brakes. I fucking give them the finger and. Tossers.
Super.
Well, I found it on Spotify, so I might have listened to that later.
Oh, it's on there. Good.
Yes. Okay. Right. Excellent. Well, my number 3 is a song from 1970, and it's called "Groovin' with Mr. Blow" by Mr. Blow.
No, you got me there.
And interesting. And it's one of those weird ones. So I was listening to a compilation not long ago, and I heard this song, Grooving with Mr. Blow by Mr. Blow. And I thought, I know that. And I didn't. I don't think I'd ever heard it before. If I had, it was a long while ago. I just assumed, but it's one of those songs. It's got this it's got this harmonica in it, and it's one of those songs that just sounds like you know it. And you listen to it and you think, I've heard that, and you probably haven't. You've probably heard something that sounds like it, or but it's one of those things. It just seems so immediate the moment you hear it, and you're like, oh wow, right. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What kind of music is it then? So it's got a harmonica. Is it kind of 70s rock?
It's a 70s soul-y rock instrumental. And it's got a funny story actually, because it was originally made by a band called Wind, who were a US. I know, unfortunate. Why didn't they just call them the Farts or something?
Trubs.
Yeah. So it was a US. They were a US studio group, and the song was the B-side of a single called "Make Believe." Which had Tony Orlando, later of Dawn, and Tie Yellow Ribbon around the Old Oak Tree as the lead singer. So apparently it made its way over to England. BBC Radio played it, accidentally played the wrong side and played Grooving with Mr. Blow. So there was a music company called Dick James Music, and one of their reps heard it and said, "Fuck me, that's brilliant," and wanted to release it, but they couldn't get the rights. So they in turn got a group of session musicians together who called themselves Mr. Blow and re-recorded "Grooving with Mr. Blow," and it was a big hit.
Sounds a bit risky for a BBC airing anyway, because there's a definite suggestion of illicit drugs there.
Well, the blow is spelt BLOE.
Oh, okay.
So that was probably, so there wasn't. I mean, if you look on Wikipedia under genre, it says pop soul, northern soul, bubblegum. So, you know, because bubblegum pop was kind of a big thing back in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was just kind of this throwaway but very catchy pop, and a lot like we've talked before about how I think when we talked about the 70s singles, how everything was so immediate, everything it caught your ear very much, and this is a prime example of it. It caught your ear, and you were like, oh, and it may sound, it may sound like something you'd heard before, even though you hadn't. It's got that to it. It would have like, kind of sweet sounding, bouncy lyrics, and that was the whole bubblegum pop thing. I've got a couple of compilation CDs of bubblegum pop. And there's some crackers. There's a few duffers, but the majority of it is really well written, catchy, tuneful, pop music, basically.
There's been some research to suggest that better educated people buy more music and buy more LPs in particular, and
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Poor educated people catch up when it comes to pop 7 inches. Pop 7 inches are much more attractive to people of lower education, whereas more lengthy music, LPs and so on, tends to be the favourite buying area of better educated. But better educated people generally buy more music.
Well, there was a really interesting. I can't remember whether I covered this before. I feel like I have, but I will say it again. Bob Stanley wrote a book called Yeah Yeah Yeah, which was the history of pop music. And it's a cracking book. It is so in depth. But he talks in there about how, singles would sell this amount, but every now and again there would be a shit single, and all the people who didn't normally buy records will go and buy that fucker. Hence, you had like St Winifred's School Choir would get to number 1, and and things like
Band.
Yeah, and Joe Dolce, Shut Up Your Face. Because all these people who would never normally buy records would go and buy that record. Mm-hmm. That's why when you go into charity shops, it's always shit, because some fucking old dear's died and all she ever bought was all the shit ones that went to number 1 and Jim fucking Reeves. Although I did go into my local charity shop earlier today and came out with 4 cracking, really obscure new wave singles.
Oh, really?
Destroy All Monsters, The Sound, an old alternative TV one, and something else. Just sat there on their own in a box. I thought, thanks, I'll have them. 50p each. So I'm back in there tomorrow in case they put a few more out. But yeah.
Okay.
So Groovin' Mr. Blow, that is a cracking single. And sorry, I just clicked my pen again then.
So don't do it when you're talking. I can't edit it out when you're talking.
What I'll do is I'll do a glossary of things, noises you might hear, stick it on the Facebook page. So if you hear click, 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 that's me fiddling with a pen. If you hear wow, that's the cats fighting. Anything else is just normal bodily functions.
Well,
and if I get excited and go like that on the desk, then that's me getting excited and banging the desk and stuff.
Yes, I try to kind of edit out as much as I can, and there's usually quite a lot to edit out of your background noise.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fucker for background noise.
Anyway, okay, so that's your number 3, wasn't it?
That was my number 3, yes.
Okay. My number 4, I think we're on now then, is a track called Clipper. and it is by Autechre, and it's from the third album, 1995's Trirepete. The weird thing with Autechre is that this album, Trirepete, would probably be in my top 20 of all time records. I think is absolutely stunning and I've always loved it. The weird thing is I have quite a number of other Autechre records: Incunabulus, LP5, Choristis, Chiastic Slide, Amber, Anvil Vapra. Not one of them would get in the top 100 of my records. And I don't think there are many bands that I can think of that have been so consistently not to my taste, but they've put one record out which from start to finish is fucking excellent. Absolutely brilliant.
That might be a subject for a podcast.
It might be. Yeah, make a note.
So what would we call that? Records where you hate everything else they've done, but this one's all right.
He did one fantastic record.
Fucking hell.
I don't know. We have to think of a shorter title.
We could do a one album and that was it. Can you think of any of them?
What a band that recorded
that's just
one?
Released one album, or singer has released one album and that was it.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I could possibly think of them, but I can't think of them while we're recording another podcast.
No, fair enough. Sorry, just thinking out loud. Funnily enough, I was listening to that Autechre album a few weeks ago.
But Trirepete.
I fucked if I could remember which one Clipper is. Yeah, I had it on for some reason. I think I was pissed about on Bleep, the online record shop, they kind of Warp Records retail arm, and I was faffed around there. And I just happened to see it. I thought, fuck, I haven't listened to it in years, and I put it on and enjoyed it, but I could not tell you which track Clipper was.
I think it's the second track on there.
Still doesn't help.
But to be honest,
other than I now know it was the second track, I couldn't tell you what. So there's bits that probably go like or something, and other bits that probably go whoop 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 or so. I don't know. It's
a little bit more sophisticated, perhaps. But I could have picked any track from that album because I love it all. And it's fantastic. I went to see Autechre at a gig once, and it probably didn't help very much because it was in a small, quite dingy basement club somewhere in London in the early 90s. And it was as a little dive. And Autechre, for those who don't know, it's just two guys, Sean Booth and Robert Brown. And they were confined to a quite small area. I don't think there was even a stage. I don't think you were even elevated, but there's a small area. And they didn't have much kit. There might have been a laptop each or something. They weren't animated. There was no light show. There's nothing to look at. They didn't move around. And as a viewer, I was kind of thinking, why didn't I just stay at home, have some friends there, and have some beer and stick on a loud CD? But anyway, that being said, as I say, Trirepete is fantastic. And it is like much of their work. It's difficult to describe a distinction between this album that is fantastic and other records of theirs, which I don't think are, because it's all purely electronic. There's nothing else in there other than electronics. And I did read a long time ago that the two of them spend more time designing sounds than assembling them into songs. They're very, very interested in the sounds. They're very, very interested in the technology as well. They've been not only in music press, but in the music production press as well. Magazines like Sound on Sound talking about process and kit and so on. But their music, it's not dance music. It's not harsh or noisy. It's not drone. It's not ambient. It is quite unique. And for me, certainly Trirepete, it has this crystalline, metallic, glassy, modernist feel to it. It's like a modernist sculpture. It's so smooth and clean, like polished steel. But with tracks like Clipper, you've got this very, very pristine modernist electronics, but there are synths and tones in there that are really human and really carry an emotion that sweep across. And that may be it. It may be Choristis and LP5. It's all about the machinery and none of that human edge. And maybe with Trirepete, they got that in there and just got it to sit just right. But, you know, it's all a matter of taste. Autechre are very, very popular. There's no doubt about that. They're still touring today. They do cite Coil as a major influence. I just mentioned
No
that.
way.
I just mentioned that. I've listened to some of their more recent stuff, and I still don't get it. The most recent album, I think, Plus, it simply sounds like someone's tipped a bucket load of interesting sounds out onto the floor. It doesn't sound to me like it's making a lot of sense. But again, like I say, all best of luck to them, because they are very popular and they're good at what they do, clearly. It's just not ticking my boxes. So there you go, grace and machinery. I think that's what it is. The machinery and the grace of these extra synths. The track runs to 8.5 minutes, so it's quite long. But again,
who knew? Who knew?
It wasn't until we started doing these podcasts that I realised that I have a tendency to favour longer tracks. Maybe that's why I never bought 7 inches very often. Maybe why I always went to LPs. I don't know. But anyway,
you don't stand it up too often to go and turn it over.
Even though I don't have to, even if it's digital or a CD, I just like to get really involved in the music, and you can't do that in a 2.5 minute track so much.
Yeah.
Not to say there aren't fucking loads of great short tracks, but there you go.
So do you listen to your records in your studio?
Yeah.
So my number 4 is from 19. Oh, I can't remember what the year it was now. Actually, I had it written down, and I can't actually remember now. 1981, I think.
Okay.
But it is Simple Minds.
Oh wow.
Themes for Great Cities.
Okay.
Originally released on the companion album to Sons and Fascination, which was Sister Feelings Cool.
Right.
One of those songs that's kind of stuck with me ever since. I really, really loved it. And it's one of those things where I was a big fan of it and kind of forgot it for a while. And then I kind of think with the advent of Spotify, I found it and started putting it on playlists and everything. And then I remember I played it to my sister, and she said, "Oh, I know that." And I said, "Do you?" And she goes, "Yeah, but it didn't sound like this." And I think it had been sampled for some kind of Balearic trance single back in the early 2000s. So it was, from what I gather, it was written in preparation for those albums, Sons of Fascination. And rather than have a double album, they released 2 albums at once. And I think you bought Sons of Fascination, then Sister Feelings Cool was like $1.99 or was really cheap or it's something like that. I can't remember. One of these stupid fucking promotional things that Virgin used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I think originally it was written by their keyboard player, and he brought it in, and they made it. I think it was Mick McNeil. They gave it to Jim Kerr, and Jim Kerr listened to it, and kind of later said, I could never imagine putting lyrics to it. It was such a brilliant. It worked so well as an instrumental, and it is. It's one of those kind of in the vein of, but nothing really like, Fanfare for the Common Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. In that it sounds like it was designed for an event. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It sounds like, and Themes for Great Cities is a fantastic title because it does really encapsulate what it sounds like. It sounds like something like, for example, I know you've never seen the film, but there's a series of films called The Hunger Games.
Do you know what? That's really weird because over the last week, for some reason, Rachel got it into her head she wanted to watch The Hunger Games and she wanted to watch the original.
Okay.
We've had to watch all 4 of the fucking things and it's shit.
Yeah. Oh, I love them. My girls loved them, and I got to watch them with kids who absolutely adored the books and the films. So it rubbed off on me. But there's a part in there where they ride in on a chariot, and Jennifer Lawrence's dress is on fire, and it's kind of a song that's made for an event like that. You know, you could imagine someone riding in on a chariot. I'm doing my riding on a chariot pose
It's
now.
very good.
If only you could see it, listeners. If only you could see it, you would say, "My God, I've never seen Dave look so fucking epic in my life."
Looking so much like Jennifer Lawrence. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's the fiery dress. That's what
It's
it is.
the breasts.
So that's where the two stones. That's where the two stones come on. And this is the kind of music that was made for something like that. Something of absolutely epic proportions.
Yeah.
And it's because it's yeah. I mean, I really can't describe it any better than that.
I would just say that Fanfare for the Common Man was written by Aaron Copland. It was covered by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks for that. But it is an epic song. But it's that kind of epicnicity.
Yeah. What are you put your fist up to the camera for?
I'm still on the fucking chariot, mate. I'm still on the chariot. Yeah. I'm on my third lap now. I'm having a whale of a time. In fact, I think I might mime holding a spear in my other hand now.
No,
There you go. What do you think
wouldn't.
of
You'd
that?
have to have a bow. You'd have to have a black carbon bow if you're going to be Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking more of an active chariot, and I'm going to attack someone. If I've got to let go of my reins and then get my bow and fire it, I'm just going to crash.
They could do
the
it.
horses are going to just veer off. You know, my fiery dress will kind of set the fucking crowd on fire or something. Everyone will burn to death in a fiery, a fiery inferno. If there's any other type of inferno.
Indeed. I think like the Twilight series of films, the Hunger Games, they're okay, but they feel very much like they're focused on young adults, adolescents, and they feel a little bit vapid to me.
Oh, totally. Well, they are. I mean, they were young adult books,
Indeed.
you know. I mean, and I mean, luckily I'm a young adult. So, I mean, I kind of got it completely. Not like you old twat. But I think it does make a difference that, as I said, the girls were so into the Hunger Games and still are. They still love, the books and the films.
Do you like Twilight as well? It's Twilight.
No, fucking hated Twilight.
Right. I think they're on the same level kind of thing.
I don't think they liked Twilight either.
Right, okay.
They kind of originally got into. I mean, they were into Harry Potter first, and then I think they were the main ones, Harry Potter, and then the Hunger Games.
Right.
Book wise. But they still. I mean, Lily still reads loads. I think. I don't think Annie reads quite as much. Although Annie still loves the Percy Jackson books,
yeah.
and she absolutely loves all the Greek mythology. Absolutely loves it all. Bless her, and she knows so much about it as well. She went to see a musical either this week or last week called Hadestown, which is about I can't remember. She's going to kill me. Was it Euripides? Euripides trousers, you buy me a pair. No. Was it Euripides, or it was the one who they said, don't turn around and look at your missus because you've just rescued her from Hades. If you turn around and look at her, she'll turn to something. It wasn't a pillar of salt. That was Ruth, wasn't it?
She wouldn't be allowed to leave. She would get dragged back.
Yeah, and then he goes all the way there and then goes, fucking hell. Bugger.
He couldn't hear her.
Yeah, and it's like,
right to the end.
Dickhead. Yeah. So anyway, so she went along with I think it was a trip with sixth form, and kind of knew the whole story. And everyone's going, I don't understand what's going on. She's like going, well, that's Euripides, and this is such and such, and this is that's and she knew everything. And they were like, get you. And she's like, yeah, I know, I'm so intelligent. I was just like my dad. She didn't say that. She'd never say that. She thinks I'm a stick of shit.
So Simple
Bless
Minds
her.
then.
Yeah, are you talking about me now or the band? Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure because I mean we all used to listen to Simple Minds back in the day, didn't we?
Yeah, they were borderline for me. I was never quite. I really like them or I don't really like them. I don't think I bought any of their records, but I didn't mind hearing them.
I've got everything up to and including New Gold Dream.
Yeah.
After that, I thought it got a bit patchy. Although weirdly enough, that was when they got really, really big. So, but yeah, but I think New Gold Dream is a absolute banger of an LP, and I love Sons of Fascination and Sister Feelings Cool as well. The previous ones are pretty good, but a lot different. I kind of, while I'm listening to them, I really like them, but I probably forget them as soon as I turn them off. Really, there's Reel to Reel, Cacophony, Empires and Dance, and I'm sure there was another one. I can't remember what the other one was. If there was, it might have been. I think Celebration. I think that was a kind of a best of. That was a recap. But yeah, great band. And I'm pretty sure if you listen to Themes for Great Cities, you probably go, yes, I remember that. It's one of those songs where, again, a bit like Mr. Blow, even if you haven't heard it, you don't know it, you kind of go, hold on, it's a very familiar sounding piece of music,
right?
And absolutely brilliant. And as I say, Simple Minds went on to be one of the biggest bands in the world.
Mega.
Yeah, and released a few good songs. I mean, Don't You Forget About Me.
I'm trying not to.
Don't you forget about me. Great song. And some of the more bombastic ones, Waterfront and that. They're all right.
I Promised You a Miracle. That was good.
That's New Gold Dream. And that is like I say, that is probably my favourite of their records, closely followed by Sons of Fascination and Sister Feelings Cool. But yeah, great band, great band. It was weird because back in the day, we had like Simple Minds, we had Echo and the Bunnymen and U2, and I think they were the three bands who everyone expected to be massive. But most of all, I think everyone thought it was going to be Echo and the Bunnymen. Maybe. And have we had this conversation before?
I don't think so. No.
It just sounded really familiar all of a sudden. Yeah, and U2 just went.
They went mega.
That went mega. Simple Minds kind of trundled along, and then bam, went mega. Echo and the Bunnymen never quite made it, and I always thought Echo and the Bunnymen had the better songs. In fact, Heaven Up Here is without a doubt one of the greatest LPs ever made. I just think that is an absolute classic album. Absolute classic.
One of the bands from that era that still shocks me to this day that they went on to mega stadium stardom because they never suggested any likelihood that was going to happen. It was Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
How did they end up playing these massive stadiums? Yeah. It's just stadium.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of that. Yeah, you're right. That was because that was kind of. I think that was the way that they kind of quite gradually turned from like synth pop to like a precursor of 9 Inch Nails.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
They just got heavier and heavier and more virgin, or they kind of, I was going to say virgin on industrial, but they kind of turned into what would become industrial.
They got much rawer. I think they got heroin and tattoos, did it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if that'd help me lose weight.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, possibly.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
I went to a job interview once about 30 years ago it was, and they were just saying, what were you doing in the 80s then? And I was saying, well, I was a drummer. I was a drummer in a punk band, Yeah, we were on the radio. We did some touring around and all this. Like, we did some soundtrack for a Channel 4 documentary. Yeah, we were quite something. And one of the people who was interviewing me, this woman, she said, okay, my boyfriend's a drummer. I said, oh yeah, fine. Thinking he'd be in some pub rock band. And she said, yeah, he's in Simple Minds. I thought, oh fuck. Oh shit! I'll shut up now, I think.
Oh fucking hell! Brilliant! I'd give you good money to see your face.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, good. I don't know the song, but I'm happy to have a listen.
Yeah, you'll know it. When you listen to it, you'll definitely know it. Yeah. I'll tell you another band who I know we've spoken about them before, who got unfeasibly big, and that was Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah.
And as I've said to you, even from my own experience, it was only the last few years that I kind of went, hold on, I've always playing Psychedelic Furs, and I really love them, and I know like, so many of their songs, but I would never, if you'd have ever said, you know, who are your favourite bands, I'd never have said Psychedelic Furs, or even listed them probably in my top 10. But if I go to my Last FM playlist over the last 15 years, Psychedelic Furs is right up near the top. Ridiculous. So they've kind of crept up in my consciousness, a bit like they did in all of America's consciousness. But they are a great band. I do love Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah, you said before.
I think yeah.
I don't very much, but I've said that before as well. Anyway, have you finished talking about Simple Minds now?
Yes. Go on. You do your next one.
My final one of this episode is one of, well, certainly one of, perhaps the most eviscerating, relentless, excoriating pieces of music ever.
It's Apache by the Shadows, isn't it?
It is, played backwards at double speed.
In a cathedral with some Georgian monks and a fucking panpipe.
And Jennifer Lawrence swirling around in a flaming dress.
Woo! I don't know what the fuck that was. It wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. I don't think she's ever gone.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But was that a Mockingjay?
That could have been a Mockingbird.
Mockingjay.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme where it goes? The guy points at a bird and goes, "Is that a mockingbird?" And the mockingbird goes, "Is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?"
No, I
Fuck
haven't.
me. Always makes me laugh. Always makes me laugh.
No.
Well, you don't need to see it now because I've just impersonated it for you.
Good.
And I did a really good job.
I'm sure he did. I've got nothing to compare it to, so I can only imagine.
Hold on. Does not look at memes.
My son is always sending me memes, and I bought him a game for Christmas. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's all about memes, and it's fucking hilarious to play it. You get a picture and then various options of what the meme would be saying. It's very good.
Right.
I should cut that bit out because it's a bit boring. Because I can't explain. I can't remember what it was called.
So you leave all my shit bits in and you fucking edit yours out.
Oh, dear. Anyway, 20 minutes of brutal violence, sonic violence. It's terrific.
20 minutes. Yeah, of course. 20 fucking
putting
minutes.
this on is like, it's not like putting a record on, it's like pulling the pin out of a grenade.
It's fucking Merzbow, isn't it?
No, I've seen it.
Oh,
I don't really like Merzbow that much on record. It's all a bit samey, all that kind of stuff. I went to see Merzbow live, and Merzbow has got a really...
See, are you consciously correcting me now by saying Merzbow because I said Merzbow?
No, I wasn't consciously doing it. I was known as Merzbow. Maybe Merzbow, I don't know.
I didn't. I made it up. I've no fucking idea. Well, I'm going to carry on calling Merzbow.
You can be Merzbow. It sounds a bit weak and
Merzbow.
Merzbow.
Oh, it's a bit nasal, isn't it?
It is a bit.
Fucking
Don't
hell.
like it.
Yeah, Merzbow. That's
harder.
much better. Yeah, okay. I should call him Merzbow now as well.
We went to see him live because he's got this big profile in industrial music. Went down to London to see him live. There's only about 20 people there. And 10 of them were from March, which is a bit weird. But anyway, no, it's not Merzbow. I do have some Merzbow records. I never play them because they're not listening music. But this one I can play and enjoy. And it's by a band. I say it's a band. It's one person as far as I can tell. But somebody called Holland Skin Tunnel. Holland Skin Tunnel. And the track is called I Want to Live in a Refrigerator.
Of course it is.
Which is
fucking. Why would it be called anything else?
There are no sleeve notes. The album is just called Holland Skin Tunnel by Holland Skin Tunnel. There are no sleeve notes at all. There's virtually nothing to be found about him on the web, wibbly wobbly web anywhere.
Well, that's fucking helpful for a playlist. Isn't it?
It's on. I think it's on YouTube. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely not on Spotify. I don't think.
No, but it is fucking great. The track just opens with a second or two of really rapid fire drum machines, and then guitars just erupt like a fireball, just totally distorted, and the drum machine just keeps powering through for 20 minutes with waves and waves and waves of guitar going fucking mental on it. The longer you listen to it, I think you imagine things are happening that aren't happening with it. It's a bit like that Jliat album that I had in it might have been the Ambience episode we did. There's an hour-long Jliat album, the Dancing Horse, was just a single tone for an hour. I think that this is the extreme brutal noise version of that, because I don't think much changes at all. But as the minutes tick by, I think your ears and your brain start to tell you things are happening, and it's just awesome. It's just so fucking shreddingly brutal with the drum machine just pounding and pounding and pounding. Holland Skin Tunnel released that and one 12-inch, and you know, that's about it. It seems to be a single chap by the name of Jay Marlowe, and that's it. The only bit of context or information I can give is on the CD. There's a little story that runs around in a spiral on the CD, which is something about a bored observer telling a story about Simone doing smutty things and being irritated by a corpse refusing to have feelings or close its eyes, and the boredom of death. And that is attributed to the French philosopher and intellectual Georges Bataille, who was a man who was fascinated with human sacrifice, eroticism, mysticism, surrealism, and a whole lot more. He actually founded a secret society called Acephalae, and the symbol of this society was a headless corpse, and he wanted to be sacrificed himself as an inauguration for the group, and he offered himself up to sacrifice. But despite the assurances there would be legal indemnification for anyone willing to execute him, nobody could be found to do it. So he's a strange guy.
What was his name?
Georges Bataille, Bataille.
Georges Bataille. I think I know his brother Chip.
Good grief. Is that my jokes are bad? I don't know. You come out with things like that.
Even the cat's laughing at that one.
I think you're standing on it to make it make a noise, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
So that's all I can say about that.
Oh, fucking hell. Chip Bataille.
The title of the track, I Want to Live in a Refrigerator, it takes me back to those old 1970s public information films that used to warn, particularly children, of the hazards of just being a child.
I've actually got 2 DVDs of them.
And there was one in particular that was about abandoned fridges being left in the wasteland and kids climbing into them and getting trapped.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because that was the Central Office of Information, that was closed down and all those public information films stopped. And I wonder whether since that stopped, there's been a huge spike in the number of small children getting trapped in abandoned fridges. Because it always seemed like a very niche problem to be making a film to warn people against.
Yeah, but they made films about everything. I've actually got the danger no swimming sign above my fridge from the one with death.
That was Donald Pleasance, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
That was well scary.
But they also had, I remember the one where they were jerry rigging plugs with matchsticks. Yeah. There was one where she just polished the floor and her husband walked in and tripped over, and there were hundreds of them. There were the Charlie ones, and
and there were quite a lot that were aimed at adults as well, not just children. So adults had to be wary of chip pans and being distracted when driving, and slippery surfaces, and all manner of things too.
Yeah, but most people are fucking stupid, aren't they? That's why.
They've all stopped now, and it makes you wonder.
I know, when you need them most, because people seem to be stupider than fucking ever now, don't they?
I was just saying, don't put a union flag up. Don't.
Exactly. I was saying, don't put your, if you're going to put your ladder up a telegraph pole to stick up a union flag, don't forget to have your mate at the bottom standing on it, and don't let him get distracted and fuck off down the chippy when you're halfway up there, or you'll fall and smash your head in, you fucking moron.
Dear. There was one at farms, don't fall in a cesspit or something. There's a kid falling in a cesspit, I think, from what I remember.
But weirdly, I mean, if you think back when we were kids, what were we scared of more than anything? And fucking quicksand.
Were we?
Because every bloody film we watched had fucking quicksand in it. And where were you ever going to find quicksand? You were like, fucking, is that quicksand? No, it's a muddy puddle, you dickhead, you know.
I think that was just you.
It probably was. Well, I don't know, because I've spoken to my mate Gary. We had a conversation about how scared we were of quicksand when we were kids.
Really?
Yeah, and because there was quicksand in Tarzan. There was quicksand in the westerns. Everywhere had fucking quicksand.
It was a quite common vignette that somebody would fall in a quicksand. Yeah. Ice Cold in Alex.
I've never seen Ice Cold.
Have you
Alex,
not?
actually.
It's a great film. Yeah.
But now I know it's got quicksand in it. I'm going to watch
Anthony
it.
Quinn. Anthony Quinn falls in it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I know who's in it.
No, he falls in the quicksand.
And there was the horse. The horse in that wasn't exactly quicksand. The horse in the Never Ending Story? No, is it Never Ending Story where the horse?
I don't know that.
Spoiler alert. The horse dies. But yeah, the horse sinks and everyone cries, and it's just like, oh my god, yeah. I can't remember what that was anymore. But anyway, whatever. Yes. So what was that?
That was my fifth and final for today.
That was your fifth and final one. Okay, so my fifth and final one. I've just had a rearrange because we've just agreed that vocal samples are okay, which allows me to choose one of my favourite songs of all time.
You know, you say that a lot.
I do say that a lot. I have about 15,000 favourite songs of all time. But this really is up in a. This is I love this song so much. This has been a ringtone on my phone for absolute years, and it's a song by a electronic duo called Izan, and it's called Betty's Lament. And in fact, I did Izan on the Instagram channel not long ago. I did the album that this is on.
I think you mentioned them before because certainly I remember some jokes about old toilet paper.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So Betty's Lament, it originally released as a 7-inch on Bad Jazz back in 1998, which I have over there in the box somewhere, and then re-released as part of a compilation of their singles on an album called Clockwork Menagerie on More Records. Now, Betty's Lament is just a lovely little earworm of a song. It's one of those songs where it starts off with a couple of little motifs, recurring motifs again, my favourites, Drinking Game, and then slowly other bits are added, and then towards the end there's a little vocal sample of a young child talking about the planets, and it's just such a beautiful piece of music. I could honestly sit and listen to it all day. I've ever since I bought the first 7-inch back in. I don't think I bought it when it came out, but I was listening to lots of music on a
radio.
On a label called Static Caravan, and they released an Izan single, and I think I just kind of managed to buy the others possibly on eBay, and I've still got them. And then, as I say, Clockwork Menagerie, the LP came out, and it's such a beautiful piece of music. I absolutely love it. The band are Robin Saville and Auntie Ryan, and they first started making music in 1996, and to my knowledge they're not quite as prolific as they were. I think between 1998 and 2019 they released 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, probably 11, 12 albums and mini LPs, and goodness knows how many singles. I've got a fucking huge pile of 7-inches that they released. I'm pretty sure Anthony Ryan does a lot of mastering of records now, and a lot of the electronic labels, electronic bands go to him for their mastering. I think it's the same Anthony Ryan. I'm not 100% sure, but I did, as I say, I featured this LP on the Instagram channel a few months ago, and they sent me a really lovely little message just saying, thank you, and it's nice that you get it, because one of the things I was talking about with there's so much going on, there's little bits added, and the way I explained it at the time was, it kind of makes your brain itch you're listening to it, and there's all these little bits and bobs going on all over the place. And it's just been, I mean, the whole of the Clockwork Menagerie LP is superb. I mean, all of their music is superb. I love them. I think they're fantastic. But the singles compilation is a banger. There's another song called Damil 95, which again is similar in the way that it has a recurring vocal sample. And it's taken from, I've no idea where it came from. I'm pretty sure years ago I actually found out, but it's a sample from a film, or it appears to be. And it goes something like, Dr. Ivanovich, was that really necessary? And just repeat it over and over. But yeah, great piece of music, lovely piece of music, and kind of looking forward to having it on a playlist so everyone can, yes, bang it on the playlist. Bang it on the playlist. Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that is number 5. That is us done, I believe.
That was good. I mean, there's so much fabulous instrumental music.
Oh, totally.
We need to revisit this one again, certainly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll just, I meant to say, this is, in real life, we are in, beginning of February, in podcast life.
Out,
we will be somewhere in March, but they've just released the record store day list for this year.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to go through it all, but I have noticed that finally they're releasing all of the XML Deutschland Peel sessions on a 2 LP set. So I would definitely be buying that. That's a definite. Yeah. The only other one I've seen so far, I only got as far as A. I just happened to see the Peel one. Well, I saw the Peel one, the XML Deutschland one on Facebook earlier. Okay. The only other one I've seen so far is Addis Rockers, which is an old dub LP from the 80s that I quite like the look of. So, fatally, Record Shop Day is around the time that I get my yearly bonus.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
So it's lots of records, all that swimming pool you've been promising yourself.
I usually I try not to go too mad on Record Store Day. Last year I drove over to Bury St Edmunds and joined the queue there and had a really nice time chatting to a few people, and it's quite good fun. But I think my favourite record shop in Cambridge, Lost in Vinyl, should be doing it this year again. Okay. As far as I know, as long as I haven't closed down again. I'm not sure. I've been in Cambridge for so long. I don't really know. But yeah. So there we have it. We've done our instrumentals. We'll probably do that again. We have to say hello, obviously, as usual, to the greatest playlist ever over in America and wherever else they are, who is now DJ Substance, Brooklyn Pete, and Robin has joined. As at this particular time, they still haven't given her a DJ moniker. And we've been a bit slack with the old MC Crabstick and DJ Shitpump.
We haven't referred to it in the last couple of episodes.
No. So we should try and remember to do that at the beginning of the next episode.
Has anybody?
If you come back with all your limbs attached from India.
Yes. Has anybody in any of the myriad social media networks that we have got a presence said anything about DJ Shitpump and MC Crabstick? Has anyone commented at all?
No, but greatest playlist ever. They were talking about it the other day. They did have a laugh at our names. Okay. Anyway, so have you got your, now that this is our new feature, 5 records we've been listening to in the last week?
Yes.
So do you want to reel yours off first? Or how do we do it? Did we go one each? Or did we do the whole lot? We just did the whole lot.
Just fucking reel them off. So five terrific tracks that have got airing in my house this week. Number 1, Living on Dreams, Vice Squad, from their last Rocker 7-inch, 1980.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, Gaff's Eulogy by Andrew Bayer from the 2013 album If It Were You, We'd Never Leave. Number 3, Painless Steel by Boran and the Club of Gore from their fantastic 2000 album Sunset Mission. Number 5, Never Again, Discharge, 1981 Signal.
Never again.
We all know that one. And last but not least, a track called Dozer from the 2026 just released album called Flare by Plantoid.
Plantoid. Why does that ring a bell?
Because it's a brand new release, you might have received some promotional material or advertising.
Yeah, quite possibly. So mine are, my tracks are, or I had originally done LPs because I forgot we were doing tracks, but I will do tracks. So my first one, Lande Hecht, has a new album out called Lucky Now, and I really enjoyed Favourite Pair of Shoes from that. I recently bought the remastered version of Jargan by Leslie Butler, and I quite like Expression in Dub. I like that. I bought this compilation on Cold Spring, which is called Prophecy in Progress UK Electronics 78 to 1 up to 1990. I really like Clock DVA. Their track is Long Ticks of Time.
Clock DVA.
I always liked Clock DVA. Do you remember them?
Sheffield, very interesting.
I've been listening to Hard Skin a lot. My favourite song at the moment, We Are the Wankers, because it's just really fucking funny. And I had a real urge the other day to play Mary Margaret O'Hara's only album. And I, because her sister Catherine died, I decided that I should, because it's such a just forgotten about our LP, I did a video for it, but I did the video ready to go on Instagram. There's no fucking songs. You can't actually get any of her songs to add to the video.
What do you mean there's no songs? What on Spotify?
Well, so when you do it on Instagram, you use their editing tool, and then you click on audio and you search for your song. Despite the fact that they're all on Spotify, none of the songs from the album are available to use on Instagram, which is a pisser. So I've got a whole video that I wanted to put up. So I might try and work out how if I can download it and just add the audio at some point if I can be bothered. Yeah. But I would pick from that To Cry About by Mary Margaret O'Hara, because it's fantastic. LP. Cool. So yeah, sorry. I went over the one
line
sentence.
Yes. Okay.
If I'd done it correctly, I was just playing for time, so I could actually get the individual tracks rather than the album titles, which are stupidly written down.
To be fair, I think we did say albums, but then we were saying, well, we put a track on the playlist from the album, so I thought, well, it's easier just to pick the track from the outset and just say what album it's on.
Yeah. Fair play.
That's me.
Yes.
Me, there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fuck off.
Right, so by the time this next episode comes out, we'll know whether Jake's had his head bitten off by a rogue tiger in India or not.
Still going on about it.
And whether I'm going to have to go ahead and do it all AI. Do you think I'm tempting fate? You know what will happen? You'll see a tiger, you'll avoid it, and you'll fall in quicksand.
Well, you know, either way, it doesn't sound like a fabulous end to a holiday. Thank you. So next time, we're doing great TV music moments.
Oh yes, we will, won't we? Yeah. So that's something to look forward to, listeners. Because we haven't even worked out how we're going to. We did have a chat about how we were going to do this, didn't we? Yes. Don't spoil it, because it'll be a lovely surprise for all the
surprise for me.
For all the it will, yeah. Okay, well, let's say goodbye to our adoring fans.
Goodbye, adoring fans.
Bye, adoring fans, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.